Have you ever returned to a door every night, already knowing it would stay shut, yet still hoping your name might rise inside? I stand beyond the gate, where warm light spills out, and my paws remember the path better than this house remembers me. Long ago, one small cry from me could pull footsteps closer, and the night would end with food, touch, safety, and sleep. Now other cats curl beneath that same window, while I wait outside, wondering when my familiar place stopped belonging to my tired body. I do not come back because I hate them. I come back because my body still stores this home like a map. Cats build belonging through repetition, so the places where we were fed, called, and stroked can feel stitched into our nerves deeply. That is why an old cat may keep returning after abandonment, not from confusion alone, but from routine refusing to die inside. When age slows the legs, sharpens the cold, and steals easy jumps, some families stop seeing history and start seeing inconvenience instead. An aging cat notices distance first in timing, because bowls arrive later, hands hover less, and the favorite voice grows strangely absent. We are often judged by the grace of our bodies, yet our deepest loyalty begins failing exactly when our bodies need kindness most. So each night I return, not expecting rescue anymore, only checking whether memory is still real when the present feels this cruel. From the alley, I watch the same window where I once slept heavy with trust, while younger bodies breathe peacefully in my place. I am not staring because I want their bowls or blankets. I am staring because that glowing frame still recognizes my shape. Or cats remember territory with the body, not only the mind, so even rejection cannot instantly erase a doorway we once claimed fully. My paws hesitate at the curb because they still expect the old welcome, and that expectation hurts more than hunger some nights. What looks like stubborn returning is often attachment searching for proof. One more chance to confirm that love did not disappear completely. Before I was left outside, my life was measured by gentle patterns. Morning light, familiar dishes, safe corners, and footsteps crossing rooms. I knew which sill held the warmest sun, which chair leg smelled comforting, and exactly when my name would float through dinner. Security for a cat is rarely loud joy. It is repetition so steady that the body relaxes before the mind notices anything. And I once belonged to a rhythm where nothing needed begging, because being loved meant my needs were answered before fear could wake. Then age began speaking through small failures. A slower climb, a stiffer landing, longer sleep, and silence where praise used to be. At first, the change was subtle enough to doubt, because abandonment rarely arrives as one moment. It drips through many tiny refusals. A bowl left emptier than before can wound deeply, because animals read shrinking care long before humans admit their affection has cooled. A hand that once reached automatically may begin pausing, and that pause can feel enormous to a creature built around predictable comfort. We do not need words to notice fading devotion. We feel it in delayed meals, shorter touches, closed rooms, and uncalled names. So when I became slower, they may have seen trouble, but I felt something worse. The terrible rearranging of closeness around me. Old cats often stop asking loudly for care, not because we need less, but because weakness can make even hope conserve energy. That quietness is dangerous, since silence can be mistaken for independence when it is really exhaustion hiding beside dignity and habit there. I still visited the windowsill inside my memory, even after my body could no longer reach it without pain or help easily. Memory is its own kind of shelter, which is why some abandoned pets keep living partly in yesterday, long after yesterday is gone. Every corner of that house once taught me I mattered, and the body does not forget importance simply because people change their minds. The cruelest part of being replaced is not jealousy, and it is realizing your old routines survived, but your place inside them did not. I watch them sleep where I once listened for footsteps, and my chest tightens with recognition more than any sharp, wild envy. Cats are territorial, yes, but our territories are never just walls. They are repeated emotional exchanges attached to bowls, voices, and rest. That window was never merely a window to me. It was the place where waiting always ended in belonging and relief there. So I returned to the gate the way thirsty creatures return to dry wells, because memory keeps promising there might be water. Hunger twists my stomach, but exclusion twists deeper, because one pain belongs to the body, while the other questions where my life went. On the coldest nights, I still linger nearby a little longer, and as if endurance itself could reopen what routine once kept open. People sometimes think animals forget quickly, yet many of us live by repetition so faithfully that loss keeps echoing through the same paths. I do not stand there to punish myself. I stand there because the body seeks unfinished attachment the way paws seek known ground. What you call a home is, for a cat, also a pattern of safety repeated until fear softens and vigilance finally loosens. When that pattern breaks, even a strong animal can seem smaller, because confidence needs somewhere dependable to land before it can appear. That is why abandoned pets often move carefully, sleep lightly, and startle faster. The world stopped promising protection, so the body changed. I was once slow because I was old and comfortable. No, but later I was slow because emptiness had settled inside my bones. There is a difference between resting in safety and collapsing from neglect, though from far away, both may look equally quiet outside. An old cat left behind learns to save movement, save voice, save warmth, and sometimes save feeling just to keep going forward. Yet some part of me keeps returning to that street, because attachment does not end cleanly when only one side lets go. I remember being called before meals, and even now my ears lift at certain sounds, chasing ghosts of care through darkness outside. This is not sentimentality in a human sense. It is associative memory, where love became linked to timing, scent, place, and sound. So when I smell the gate or hear dishes inside, my body answers first, long before reason can protect me from hope. Hope is heavy for abandoned animals because it keeps leading us back to places where memory says stay. But reality says leave. Even when I turn away hungry, I do it slowly, like someone leaving a conversation that mattered more than pride can admit. The new cats inside are not my enemies. They are simply living where my body still believes it should be welcome too. That is why replacement can feel stranger than loneliness, because the old scene continues almost unchanged, while only your own presence disappears. I used to wait by the door with calm certainty, knowing the next sound would include me instead of passing me by. Now I wait from shadows, and every sound inside reminds me that exclusion can happen without anger, without noise, without any explanation. For an old pet, being ignored can wound more deeply than being chased away, because indifference erases the shared history first inside. My body still slows near that house for the same reason a healed scar aches. Old attachment remembers pressure before danger arrives. Sometimes I sit far enough away to stay safe, yet close enough to hear life continuing without me behind the glass inside. That careful distance is its own language. I still long for connection, but I have learned not to trust doors anymore fully. Abandoned animals often live between approach and retreat, pulled forward by attachment and held back by remembered rejection whenever closeness starts tempting. I am not returning for certainty anymore. I am returning for traces. Small signs that what we were was not imagined entirely. The saddest routines are the ones the heart keeps performing after the relationship that taught them has already been erased from use. So I stand, I watch, I listen, and I leave, carrying the same unanswered question through the alleys every single night alone. Did I fail them by becoming slower, quieter, less playful, and more fragile? Or did they fail the promise first instead somehow? Animals do not measure family through promises spoken once. We measure it through repeated care when our bodies become inconvenient and old. That is why abandonment in old age feels especially severe, because dependency rises exactly when protection should become most reliable for us. A younger cat might still run on strength and curiosity, but an older one leans harder on familiar safety to survive change. When that safety is withdrawn, The world does not just feel colder, it feels suddenly too large for a tired body outside. I learned the alleys quickly, but learning survival is not the same as healing from the place that first taught trust there. So even when I find scraps to eat, some part of me remains unfed, because nourishment was once more than food alone. It was the sound of being expected, the comfort of known walls, and the quiet pride of having a place to rest. Now the nights teach a harsher lesson. A creature can remember love with perfect clarity and still sleep unwanted outside alone again. Yet I keep coming back because memory can outlive fairness, and attachment rarely asks whether the door deserves one last wait there. What humans call moving on is not simple for animals whose safety once depended on staying close to one trusted place daily. I am old enough to know the door will stay closed, but not old enough to stop checking whether tonight might differ. That contradiction is the real wound. I understand the truth, yet I am still led by instincts formed during gentler years inside. Perhaps that is why my waiting looks so quiet, because the loud fight ended long ago and only longing remained in me. I do not want revenge, and I do not even want their guilt. I want the meaning of home back with me. For a cat, home is not luxury. It is orientation, where the senses settle and the heart stops scanning for danger nearby. Losing that after years of trust can make even survival feel hollow, because living continues while belonging has already been taken away. So when you see an old cat returning to a place that no longer welcomes him, you are watching attachment outlast fairness. And you are watching routine search for its missing answer, memory test a wound, and loyalty keep breathing after comfort disappeared from sight. You are also watching age make abandonment heavier, because an older body cannot rebuild certainty as easily as a young one again. Every night I come back, I am measuring the distance between what this place once gave and what it refuses now me. Some part of me still believes that if I wait correctly, the old life might recognize me and return again to me. But the deepest truth is simpler. I keep returning because I love this place enough to build myself around it for years. And when that kind of bond is broken, the body does not immediately obey reality just because reality became unkind to us. Maybe the question is not why an old cat keeps coming back, but why love disappeared when his need grew greatest there.
Meow.
When they grow old, they are not asking for less family. They are asking whether the family they trusted still remains theirs.